Pentagon is experimenting with AI, artificial intelligence, to see into the future. Now, when you hear that, of course, you probably think Minority Report, being this popular Spielberg movie that kind of was along those lines. It had a psychic that was able to sort of see and predict events and would then tell the authorities, and they would go and stop the crime before it happened. Although apparently the Pentagon has not seen this movie because it doesn't always work correctly. Apparently they have also not seen Terminator, and they do not know what can happen when an AI goes out of control and then views humans as the threat. So maybe brush up on your sci-fi movies, Mr. Pentagon, before you try this AI into seeing into the future. But here we are, 2021. I believe we're in the end times here, and this is, just pushing us further along. So here we are with the Drive article here, and it says the U.S. Northern Command, NORTHCOM, recently conducted a series of tests known as the Global Information Dominance Experiments, or GUIDE for short, which I think is ironic that they're naming a program and they're using this AI literally as a guide. I mean, this stuff is obviously intentional. They don't do this by mere coincidence. It's using global sensor networks, artificial intelligence systems, cloud computing resources in an attempt to achieve information dominance and decision-making superiority. Information dominance, because it's all about data information these days, and decision-making superiority. There is, later in this article, it states that the reason they're so gung-ho on this is they are trying to beat Russia and China in this technological war. To see who has this technology first. Obviously, the one who commands it. If you can literally predict the future, see into the future, quote unquote, then that does give you an advantage. Of course, the disadvantage is you're trusting AI, you're trusting artificial intelligence, you're trusting something that doesn't have a sense of morality, it doesn't have the human rational thinking. It's very dangerous, and I would say it's very unpredictive, for as predictive as it might be able to see into future events using data. We don't know what it's going to do. We don't know the choices it's going to make. It doesn't have the human element connected to it, at least in the future. Right now it's still in testing, so it still has human oversight. To what end, I am not sure, but their target goal in the future is to have it independent. According to NORTHCOM leadership, the AI and machine learning tools tested in the experiments could someday offer the Pentagon a robust, quote, ability to see days in advance, meaning it can predict the future with some reliability based on evaluating patterns, anomalies, and trends with massive data sets. While the concept sounds like something out of Minority Report, or I think more like Person of Interest, the commander of NORTHCOM says that this capability is already enabled by tools readily available to the Pentagon. So they already have the technology for this. It's not science fiction, it is science fact. General Glenn Van Herrick, commander of NORTHCOM and Northern American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, told reporters at the Pentagon this week that this was the third test of GUIDE conducted in conjunction with all 11 combat commands, collaborating in the same information space using the same exact capabilities. The experiment largely centered around contested logistics and information advantage, two cornerstones of the new warfighting paradigm. See, it's a new warfighting. They're saying this is a new war for information and technology. We're on a new war front here. Recently proposed by the Vice Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, a full transcript of the briefing is available, and he told reporters that this AI-enabled decision-making could actually allow for a type of proactive forecasting that sounds truly like stuff of science fiction. The machine learning and artificial intelligence can detect changes. We can set parameters where it will trip an alert to give you awareness to take another sensor, such as a GeoNet, on satellite capability to take a closer look at what might be going on in a specific location. What we've seen is the ability to get way further to what I call left of being reactive and actually being proactive, stopping it before it happens, making the predictions. I'm not talking minutes or hours, I'm talking days in advance. Not like right before, but days in advance, which is the premise of Minority Report and Persons of Interest. The ability to see days in advance creates decision space. Decision space for me as an operational commander to potentially posture forces, to create deterrence options, to provide, you get the picture. I mean, the further you can see in the future, obviously it gives you an advantage tactically, which all sounds, well and good. Of course, again, not counting the Terminator effect in this whole thing. To do this, the experiment used artificial intelligence tools to perform real-time analysis of data gathered by a network of sensors across the globe, including commercially available information from unnamed partners. That information could be shared via cloud-based systems to allies and other partners in real time should Northcom decide to. The test also includes support for Joint Artificial Intelligence Centers, the Project Maven, a DoD project that leverages AI to sift through massive amounts of persistent surveillance imagery and rapidly identifying useful information. The U.S. Air Force and U.S. Army have also been testing similar concepts and exploring convergences of real-time data collection and artificial intelligence in order to enable faster and more informed decision-making. So they say we're not creating new capabilities to get data and information. The information already exists from today's satellites, today's radar. The world's already connected in this kind of grid system. Everyone's already plugged in. The underseas capabilities, the cyber, the intel capabilities, the data exists. What we're doing is making that data available and shared into a cloud where machine learning and artificial intelligence look at it. They can process it really quick and make decisions, which I call decision superiority. So they're using the data that exists and giving it to this AI where it can make decisions. In his remarks, the NORAD commander obliquely referred to Russia and China, claiming that the United States currently has two peer competitors, obviously we know who they are, both nuclear armed, that are competing against us on a daily basis. When a reporter then asked the general to elaborate on the Guide 3 exercise, the Pentagon wouldn't name a specific simulated adversary, but noted it was focused on a peer competitor. So it didn't say Russia and China, but it obviously is Russia and China. The Pentagon's third global information dominance experiment is just one more signal that the future conflicts could largely be determined by which forces can deploy the best artificial intelligence systems and leverage information the fastest. Given the rate and scale at which the data flows around the world thanks to modern communication networks, satellites, and other technologies, it could be in the very near future that the battlefield decisions will be dominated by suggestions from AI tools and eventually left to AI themselves, as they can make decisions much faster than a human could. So let me read that again. In the very near future, the battlefield decisions will be dominated by suggestions from AI tools and eventually left to the AI themselves, as they can make decisions faster. But can they make them better? There is no human element. So there are a lot of possibilities here that could go wrong. AI decides we're the threat, as seen in the Terminator movies, or they want to use the AI to target specific groups, and that AI, having no moral conflict with it, is obliged to do so. There are a lot of... This is a very touchy subject here. Elon Musk, in fact, said that AI is the #1 threat to humanity, and we're not taking it seriously, and we don't realize just how fast it's evolving. I've done some videos on that, so you can go back in the playlist and take a look at some of the AI Elon Musk videos. I actually did a whole live show about that too on Sunday nights. So here we have it, the Minority Report / Persons of Interest scenario. Science fiction has become science fact. Let me know your comments down in the comment section below. I do thank you for watching this video. Tune in Sunday nights at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time as we enter the unfamiliar live on our live show, Sunday nights, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Thank you for watching.